Welcome back to the channel, Hex Tribe. In this video, I'm going to explain to you about INC token. You might be wondering, what is INC token on the PulseChain network? What is this token that I see all over PulseX? People are trading it all day long. People are getting INC rewards. Is it a good buy? How do I get it? How do I buy it? How do I obtain this INC token? Because guys, I was actually wrong about this token. I thought at first it was going to be a Perma-Dump token, and a lot of people out there might also be thinking that too. But now I'm starting to think that it's actually a sleeper cell. Okay, so stick around till the end of the video because I'm going to explain why this token's actually pretty ingenious and why I think it's got a lot of potential. Now, I'm not saying you should go buy it or anything, but I'm going to tell you how I'm choosing to accrue this token over time. And it's pretty easy to get, but it does require an advanced strategy of liquidity providing. So let's get right into it, okay? First of all, let's take a look at the price, guys. Why should you even care about INC? Well, it was at $8 a couple of days ago, and it literally just did a 3.5x. It tripled in value over the past couple of days. Now it's 30 bucks. Now this blew me away. I had no idea that this coin was going to grow so high so fast. Now, is it going to stay at these levels forever? I don't know. Maybe not. People might choose to dump this token. But first, you got to understand and ask yourself, what is INC token? I mean, you have to understand what you're getting yourself into. You can't just go buy a token, just because it went up in price, right? But what's different about INC that makes it not just another meme coin or pump and dump scheme, all right? And the light bulb moment for me just kind of went off the other day, okay? I had this revelation and it all made sense, partially thanks to your friend Somi. That's your friend, S-O-M-M-I. Give that guy a follow over on the YouTubes. But he opened my eyes a little bit, and then, it just really made sense. This INC token, I really think, is a sleeper cell. And if you want to know how to get INC, it's really simple, guys. Just go to pulsex.com. Pulsex.com. Right now, the only way to get INC other than buying it on the open market is minting it via Liquidity Farms. So if you don't know what a liquidity farm is, go watch my previous videos. And not just anybody should be setting up liquidity farms, okay? So if you're new to crypto and if you have smaller bags, like less than a couple $1,000s, let's say, feel free to sit this one out. Do not get FOMO, because when you have FOMO, that's typically how you shoot yourself in the foot. You make decisions that you don't understand and you rush into things. And I'm not saying anybody should buy this coin. I'm not choosing to buy this coin. I'm simply minting it and holding it. And stick around till the end because I'll show you a strategy about how I'm minting it on top of minting it. It's a crazy double compounding thing. But these are the farms, the liquidity farms that allow you to mint INC token. What is a liquidity farm? Well, guys, in order to start a liquidity farm, you need to go to PulseX, app.pulsex.com, go to liquidity, and then you need to set up a liquidity pair, okay? Now, you could only earn INC tokens if you set up a particular liquidity pair that is listed on this farms page. So you got to make sure that whatever liquidity pair you're providing, and remember, a liquidity pair is you're sacrificing your own tokens to let other people trade in and out of them all day long. So if I put up 1 million PLS, I also have to put up 2.7 million PulseX, and that's my money that I'm letting other people trade in and out of for a fee of 0.22% of all trades. Okay, so it's pretty cool. It's a way to make passive income, but it's also very risky. Again, if you don't understand this, don't do it. But for people that are interested in INC token, the way you earn it is you have to provide liquidity on one of these many farms on the farm tab of PulseX, okay? Now you'll notice that these are all the main tokens in the Richard Heart ecosystem. It's PulseX Pulse. It's basically every stablecoin paired with Pulse, every bridged-in stablecoin, and bridged-in Ethereum. So all of these bridged-in stablecoins and Ethereum, pairing that with Pulse is going to get you INC token. Pairing your Hex with Ethereum Hex is going to get you INC token. Pairing your Hex with PLS is going to get you INC. And now most recently, these two new ones down here are what's really crazy. Pairing your INC itself with either Pulse or PulseX in a liquidity pool is a way to get you, yes, even more INC, okay? It's ridiculous. And you can look at the APRs here and kind of figure out which ones are paying out more or less INC token. These two down here are paying 800% APR in the form of INC. The stablecoin pairs seem like they're paying the highest right now. Stablecoins bridged in paired with PLS native. Staking your liquidity position on any of these pairs is the only way to get INC token. So again, the only way you can mint INC token without buying it on the open market is you need to go to the liquidity tab, add a liquidity pool that's on that list, right? Put up your coins, and this is going to give you, once you do this, you'll get what's called a PLP, a PulseChain liquidity position. And that's a token that just represents your stake in the liquidity pool. Guys, if I'm going too fast, I have previous videos. Watch my last video about liquidity. But basically, once you put up your liquidity position, you take your PLP tokens that represent your share in that liquidity position, and you hop on over to the Farms tab, and you really quickly just connect your wallet, enable the position. And for example, right now, I have a position opened on the PulseX Pulse liquidity pair, right? And I'm staking my PLP tokens, aka farming. I'm locking my liquidity position up in here in order to earn INC. So the incentive, right? The incentive is given so that liquidity providers stick around for a while, that they don't just jump from coin to coin, that they actually provide stable liquidity. So the genius move with INC is that it incentivizes people to stabilize the liquidity pairs early on, and more importantly, to stabilize specific liquidity pairs that are very deliberately chosen. Guys, look at these liquidity pairs and tell me what you see. You know, you don't really see any random meme coins on there, do you? You only see the blue chip PulseChain ecosystem coins, Hex, PulseX, PulseChain, and then some stable coins, right? There's a method to the madness here. Things are on this list for a reason. And again, once you lock your PLP tokens in these pools, that's how you mint INC. So right now I'm minting, I don't know, 1 or 2 INC per day maybe. I haven't checked yet, but that's pretty good passive income, right? That could be $60, $100 a day, you know, depending on how big of a player you are. And I got to mention right now, guys, this video is kind of directed more towards larger players that have bigger stacks of coins that can afford to, you know, play around with a smaller stack. So you never really want to liquidity provide with your entire stack of coins. In my opinion, obviously you can do whatever you want, but I choose to take just a small percentage of my coins and do these liquidity providing experiments because I'm interested in accruing INC token. And guys, if you do have a liquidity position locked into a farm here and you're harvesting your INC every so often, take a look at this website too, accruedinc.com. It's by the same guy that made plsburn.com. The link is right here on plsburn.com. But you can really quickly just plug in your address and see how much INC you've earned by just plugging in your public address. So this is a nice website if you're away from your computer, you know, your crypto laptop or whatever that might be. And if you're on the go, you can just plug in your public address, put it in here, and it'll tell you how much INC you've accrued at this point in time. So kind of a cool tool. You might want to bookmark this one if you're playing the INC game. What is the INC game, guys? Why is it not just a Perma-Dump token like I originally thought? I'm going to tell you why I was so wrong about this coin, or at least why I think I was wrong, okay? We talked about what it is, right? It's rewarded to specifically liquidity providers on specific pools on the PulseX network. Again, think about why those pools were chosen. I don't know how I can explain this simply, but due to Hart's law, basically coins that are tightly bonded in their liquidity go up and down in price together. For example, if everybody's pricing PulseX in terms of Pulse, but people are spending all their US dollars to buy Pulse, well, let's say PLSX is worth 0.5 PLS, but the price of PLS doubles, but PLSX is still worth 0.5 of a coin that just doubled in USD value. Let's say PulseChain went from $1 to $2, but PulseX is still worth half of PLS. Well, that means PulseX just went from 50 cents to $1, hypothetically, even if nobody touched the PLSX coin at all in USD terms. Okay, that's kind of the simplest way I can put it. I've got previous videos about that, so make sure you watch that. I'll try to explain Hart's law and liquidity bonding further in another video, but what you need to know is that these pools were chosen so that all these coins, this trifecta, PulseX, PLS, Hex, can all pump together. Okay, it's a beautiful thing, and when the light bulb goes off for you, I think you're going to be really excited about it, you know, just as excited as I am. Again, only certain pools are rewarded. These were chosen deliberately. I just talked about that. And now, here's kind of the dynamics of this coin. It started off at 0 supply, and there's only a certain number of INC given out every second. Okay, so 1 INC is minted every second. You know, this might be wrong. I've actually heard it's 3 per second. So let's say there's 3 INC that are minted every second for all of time starting at 0, meaning it's been, you know, what, 1 million seconds so far? Maybe there's 1 million INC token that exists today. So it's kind of scarce. It only gets minted 1 per second. And again, not everybody gets one, right? People get a small fraction of one because there's so many liquidity providers. And that, you know, 3 INC, let's say, that's minted every second has to get split up between every single person providing liquidity. So this cuts in half every year. So when you want to talk about scarcity, Bitcoin has a halvening, right? Every 4 years in Bitcoin, the inflation rate gets cut in half. That's every 4 years. Now in INC, every 1 year, the inflation rate gets cut in half. But it's also much simpler than Bitcoin, right? It's easy to understand. It goes from 3 per second until year 1, and then after year 1, it gets cut in half to, let's say, only 1.5 INC tokens are released every second. And then in year 2, it would be 0.75 INC are released every second. Or you could do the inverse, right? 3 INC are released every 2 seconds, or 3 INC are released every 4 seconds, okay? That's pretty simple to understand. Now, I think at first I was wrong about only 1 being minted per second, so let's just change this 1 to a 3, but it's very scarce, okay? That's the gist of it. INC token is scarce because it needs to be minted, and the only way it can do so is by liquidity providers taking that risk of putting up liquidity. And it is a risk because you could end up with more of a less valuable coin and less of a more valuable coin. That's called impermanent loss. All right, we're not going to dive into all the specifics. This video is about INC. Now, what can you do with it? Well, you can buy it on the open market if you like. You can sell it, for USD or whatever. You can mint it by being an LP, or you could swap it for other coins like Hex, PLS, and PulseX. Now, this is very interesting to me. When I do want to get rid of my INC, rather than just selling it, I can use it to accrue more tokens that I actually like. And I love these 3 tokens right here. I want more of these 3 tokens personally, okay? That's just me. That's my preference. I can swap my INC for these coins rather than dump it on the open market and hurt the price. So when you swap INC directly for Hex, Pulse, and PulseX, it actually never touches the US dollars. So in reality, you're only affecting the ratio of INC to Hex, INC to Pulse, INC to PulseX. You're not affecting the ratio of INC to USD. So I like swapping as an option because I don't even have to hurt the price of INC in US dollar terms, and I can get more, I can accumulate more of the coins I like. In addition, the super meta strategy that I've been talking about on Twitter is you tie it to additional liquidity pairs and earn even more INC. Okay, those were the 2 most recent pairs added. That's those 2 down here, right? INC Pulse and then INC PulseX. These 2 right here. And me personally, now I'm looking into these pairs because they're paying a pretty high APR, and it's just a circular feedback loop. My INC just earns me even more INC. And hey, if it earns me more PLS too, that's great. If it earns me more INC and PulseX, amazing. I have 4 tokens now that I really like, and they all feed into each other in this beautiful feedback loop, okay? You guys starting to understand what I'm saying here? But so now why might people choose to mint it and swap it and tie it to liquidity pairs rather than just dump it every time they get one, right? Every time they get one, just dump it for $30. Hey, look, it's $30. I'm going to sell it. Well, why might people not want to do that? Let's think about the types of people that hold INC. In order to get INC, guys, only liquidity providers have to mint it, okay? Nobody else can do that. So what do we know about the behavior of liquidity providers? Let's think for a second. Liquidity providers are usually people with a little bit more money, a little bit more coins. They're usually larger players. And also, what do we know about larger players? They usually have a lower time preference, meaning they don't care about money right now. So they're usually better holders, okay? Larger players are typically stronger hands because they already have financial freedom. They don't need to be just dumping coins all the time. They don't have the kind of the pleb mentality of day trading and how do I get $100 overnight or $1,000 overnight. That's not how people get rich, right? These people are rich. These large players are rich in the first place because they have stronger hands, because they behave like rich people do. They hold for the long term. They don't dump every coin the minute they get it. So if only larger players and stronger hands hold this coin, in my opinion, and if they're all fans of Hex, PLS, and PulseX, right? If all these 3 things are true, well, in my opinion, this will hold up the value of INC very well because they're not going to want to dump it, and they're going to want to put it back into the reflective ecosystem to pamp all of the coins that they like. Remember what I just talked about. Me personally, I'm not interested in selling my INC necessarily for US dollars. I'm interested in either swapping it for one of these 3 coins or putting it back in to the reflexive ecosystem and earning even more INC on my INC. It's like, yo, dog, I heard you like INC. So that's what kind of people hold it. Strong hands and not plebs. So that's why I actually think that this coin will actually maintain value, contrary to what I previously thought, okay? This light bulb moment went on for me, and I hope it makes sense to you too. So that is why I see INC token actually possibly sustaining its value. Now, it seems pretty high to be at $30 already, but you got to think about it. There's not a lot of INC coins that exist in the world. And the only way to make them exist is to take a risk and to put up some liquidity in one of these pairs. So the risk takers get rewarded for, stabilizing liquidity and not going anywhere, and impermanent loss risk. And they're also unlikely to sell because, again, why are they unlikely to sell? Because instead of just dumping it, they can transfer it in for more hex, more pulse. They can swap it for more PulseX, or they can lock it in these pools and earn even more fees and incentive token there. When you realize that this is all kind of an ingenious way to keep money in the ecosystem and to keep all of these tokens locked to each other in terms of their pricing, like if Hex is only priced in Pulse and PulseX is only priced in Pulse, then if the Pulse price pumps, Hex and PulseX go up. When you realize that this reflexive ecosystem was designed specifically for a reason, an INC token is just the cherry on top, I think you'd be just as excited as me. Now, if you're a smaller player and you don't want to liquidity provide, don't FOMO in just because I made a video about it. Okay, don't buy this token just because this video is here. Again, I'm not buying the token. I am not putting my money into this token. I'm just earning it as a way to make passive income. But it does have a value because it's tied to things that do have value, like PLS. Because INC is tied in a liquidity pair to PLS, well, we can derive a USD value by looking at the ratio of how much PLS can I get for one INC, and then asking, okay, what's the USD price of PLS? So you just do one more multiplication, and you get a US dollar price. But what am I saying, guys? Don't feel like you have to rush into liquidity providing. Don't feel like you have to go buy INC token, because again, I'm not. Just realize that it's extremely bullish that this system exists. I'm trying to explain more than anything the self-referential system, the reflexive system that is Hex, Pulse, PulseX. That's all galvanized by INC to make it stickier. So even if you're not participating in a liquidity pool, you can smile to yourself at the fact that this is extremely bullish for the prices of all three tokens in general, okay? You don't have to get involved. You can just know and have more conviction in your holdings, knowing that INC exists and that this system was designed to pump the price of all three of your tokens, assuming that you're a fan of Hex, that you're a fan of Pulse, and that you're a fan of PulseX. So just take solace in the fact that this was all very deliberate and designed for a reason. And I thought it was worth sharing because it is a light bulb moment. I hope I explained that in a way that made sense. And guys, if I provided value, like, subscribe, share the video, leave a comment. It all helps pump the algorithm. And ultimately, it's going to help pump the price of all these tokens. Okay. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.